I need to finish what I started. And that's the only reason that I ever even stepped onto the sideline from where I was at initially. Because I had to exercise some demons for myself, but more than anything is when you hear the narratives that are written by people who are not here and just have random stuff to say, it irks me because they don't know.
Doug Christie breaks his silence after 20 years and sues for the truth. After more than 2 decades of staying quiet, Doug Christie is finally speaking out, and he's not holding back. The former NBA player has filed a massive $4.6 million lawsuit against his wife Jackie Christie and former teammate Chris Webber. But this isn't just about a bad breakup or locker room drama. It's about betrayal, deception, and years of emotional pain.
Christie runs his life. To the point where he was playing with the Sacramento Kings, when he out on the bench, he wasn't allowed to look up because she said she didn't want him to catch the eye of a cheerleader or somebody in the crowd. And you see this on tape because they did a whole special on it. So where he sits down on the bench after he gets subbed out and have to do this till he gets subbed back in.
Doug had long suspected something wasn't right. Over the years, he had quiet doubts, but nothing concrete. That changed when he decided to take a DNA test. The results stunned him. He had no biological connection to Chantel, the daughter he had raised and loved as his own for more than 20 years. For any parent, learning that would be heartbreaking. But Doug needed answers, not just shock. So, a second DNA test was done, this time including Chris Webber. That test revealed the devastating truth. Chris is Chantel's real father, with 99.99% certainty. Doug had unknowingly been raising the child of someone he considered a friend and teammate. And neither Chris nor Jackie had ever told him the truth. But what pushed Doug over the edge wasn't just the DNA results, it was what came afterward. Doug's legal team uncovered Jackie's personal journals. In her own handwriting, Jackie confessed she knew the truth from the very beginning. She admitted she had doubts, chose to stay quiet, and never had the courage to tell Doug what really happened.
I would have to say I give advice to successful black women like yourself that's young to continue to follow your dream no matter what. People are going to get mad. Right now, my light is shining. It's my time. And there's a lot of people that don't want to see that. But I tell you what, I'm going to keep on shining.
Then came an even bigger bombshell, a leaked voicemail between Jackie and Chris. In the audio, Jackie is heard urging Chris to keep their story straight. It was now clear, this wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a secret they had carefully hidden for years. Doug didn't break down. He didn't go to the media for sympathy. He went to court. He filed his lawsuit in Los Angeles County, demanding $4.6 million in damages. And he wasn't just throwing out claims, he had receipts. Every dollar he spent while believing he was Chantel's father had been documented. That includes $180,000 for private school, $95,000 for college expenses, $72,000 in medical costs, and $230,000 on family vacations. Add to that $500,000 in lost income from the public fallout of the false paternity story, plus nearly $1.9 million for emotional suffering. Doug's lawsuit covers a range of claims, including paternity fraud, emotional distress, identity misrepresentation, and financial damages. But even more than money, he's asking for the truth to be legally recognized. One of his requests is to have Chantel's birth certificate corrected to show Chris as her biological father. This isn't about revenge. It's about setting the record straight and finally getting closure. When Jackie was served with the lawsuit, she reportedly collapsed at home, crying uncontrollably. Later that night, she went live on Instagram at 2 a.m., looking distraught. She spoke vaguely about betrayal and loyalty, then suddenly ended the video mid-sentence.
Sure, now Valentine's Day is tomorrow. I do know you're in Sacramento. What's going to be the Valentine's Day plans? You have to tell me.
You know, the team's going to be playing Phoenix on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
I have to shoot a podcast, and I have, a party that they're doing for me here. So I won't be going to the trip. So This will be our first Valentine that I won't be with them. So we had Valentine's last night. We had dinner, we gave gifts, and it was so amazing. And I told him, you're my lifetime Valentine. So, yeah.
Viewers called it a public breakdown, and many weren't sympathetic. Online comments accused her of trying to play the victim and twist the narrative. Things only got worse when Jackie allegedly tried to bribe her own daughter. Just 2 days after Doug's legal team asked Chantel to testify, Jackie reportedly sent an envelope to Chantel's apartment. Inside? $15,000 in cash and a handwritten note that said, "You don't have to be dragged into this. Let your parents handle it. I'll take care of you like I always have." But Chantel didn't stay silent. Instead, she photographed the envelope, the money, and the note, and gave them to Doug's legal team. Within hours, Jackie was hit with a cease and desist order, and the alleged bribe was reported to the court as witness tampering, something that could lead to criminal charges. This was no longer just a family matter. It had become a courtroom battle filled with manipulation, lies, and broken trust. During his deposition, Doug shared emotional testimony. He said that for years, he chose to protect Jackie's image even when he sensed something was wrong. He stated, "I spent 20 years protecting Jackie's image. I now know I was protecting a lie." He didn't speak with bitterness, he spoke with clarity and purpose. Jackie, during her own deposition, contradicted herself several times. She admitted she had doubts from the very first year of Chantel's life but still chose to stay silent. When asked about the forged birth certificate, she tried to downplay it, but the court wasn't buying it. Then Chris Webber finally stepped in to give his statement. Without cameras or drama, he admitted he always knew there was a chance Chantel was his. "I knew it could happen," he said. Jackie said she wasn't sure. "I didn't say anything to protect her and Doug." When asked if he knowingly let another man raise his child, Chris replied, "Yes, and I'll always regret it." That single sentence may have ruined any defense he had left. Doug's legal fight isn't just about himself. His lawyers are pushing for this case to set a national precedent on paternity fraud, an issue many men face silently.
Apparently, the chick that he's been with that came up with the whole Basketball Wives show concept, Jackie, had cheated on him with Chris Webber and had a baby that is now in her 20s. And she basically lied and had Doug Christie thinking that this young lady was his daughter, when in all actuality, it was Chris Webber's baby.
So that's real news.
If successful, it could open the door for others to seek compensation for similar situations. Jackie and Chris could also face more than civil penalties. With forged documents and attempted witness tampering, the door is now open for possible criminal charges. Meanwhile, Chantel has made a powerful move of her own. She filed official paperwork to remove Christie from her legal name. She's also working on a memoir titled "Built on Lies: My Life as Someone Else's Daughter." Early previews say it details her life in the public eye, the confusion she felt growing up, and the moment she read the DNA results for herself. In a short interview clip, she says, "This isn't just about who my real father is. It's about living in truth and helping others do the same." While Jackie's reputation crumbles and Chris faces career consequences such as canceled sponsorships and a delayed speaking tour, Doug continues to stay away from media hype. He has refused all interview offers, documentaries, and reality show appearances. His message is simple: "I'll use this moment to tell the truth, not to entertain lies." The court is still deciding whether to make the trial public, but one thing is certain: this case is about more than just money. It's about truth, identity, and accountability. As for Jackie, she may soon face criminal investigations for her role in the deception. And Chris may be looking at a separate lawsuit for the emotional toll he caused. Doug's fight has struck a chord with people across the country. One fan wrote, "He lost 20 years believing a lie. He deserves peace." Another commented, "Chantel is the only one carrying herself with grace. Let that girl heal." So, after all the secrets, silence, and emotional pain, what does this really mean for Doug, for Jackie, for Chris, and most importantly, for Chantel? Let's start with Doug Christie. For over 20 years, he lived a life based on a lie. He was a devoted father, a loyal husband, and someone who sacrificed his own doubts for the sake of what he thought was love and family. But when the truth finally surfaced, Doug didn't fall apart, he stood tall. He turned to the courts, not the cameras. He didn't cash in on reality TV or release a tell-all. He chose the legal system because for him, this wasn't about attention, it was about truth, dignity, and accountability. And let's be real, Doug has become a voice for many people, especially men, who have been hurt by lies involving paternity. It's a topic that's not often talked about, and when it is, it's usually whispered behind closed doors. But Doug's case has opened a door, a conversation that's long overdue. If his lawsuit sets a legal precedent, it could change the way courts handle paternity fraud across the entire country. That's bigger than one man's fight. That's about justice for many. Then there's Jackie Christie. Her reputation has taken a massive hit, and it's one that might be impossible to recover from. For years, she was seen as a strong, outspoken woman, especially on reality TV, but this case has exposed a very different side. The journal entries, the secret calls, and the alleged bribe to her own daughter paint a picture of someone who wasn't just hiding the truth but actively working to protect a lie. And now, with potential criminal charges on the table, she may be facing the most serious consequences of all. Her breakdown on Instagram showed the world a woman unraveling under the weight of her choices. But instead of winning sympathy, it only fueled public criticism. People saw it not as a cry for help but as a desperate attempt to twist the story. Chris Webber, too, is now facing the backlash of staying silent for far too long. His admission during the deposition that he always suspected Chantel was his daughter, and chose to say nothing hit hard. One sentence, "Yes, and I'll always regret it," may haunt him for the rest of his life. It wasn't just about a mistake. It was about letting someone else live a lie, while he stood back and watched. Sponsorships have vanished. Speaking engagements are cancelled. His public image, once built on inspiration and success, is now clouded by betrayal and regret. And then there's Chantel. Imagine growing up thinking you knew who your parents were, only to discover in adulthood that almost everything you believed about your identity was false. That's the pain Chantel has had to carry. And yet, she has responded with grace, courage, and clarity. Instead of being silent or bitter, she's reclaiming her truth, changing her last name, writing her story, and finally stepping into her own light. Her upcoming memoir, built on lies, My Life as Someone Else's Daughter, is already being called one of the most anticipated tell-alls in the reality TV world. But Chantel's message isn't about revenge, it's about healing. In a sneak peek from an interview, she said, "This isn't just about who my father is. It's about living in truth and helping others do the same." That kind of maturity and strength deserves respect. So where does that leave us? Well, we're watching more than just a court case unfold, we're witnessing a major cultural moment. One where truth is finally being put above image. Where accountability matters more than appearances. And where people like Doug are refusing to let lies define their lives any longer. This lawsuit may result in millions of dollars in damages. It may lead to criminal charges. It may even force changes in civil law. But even if none of that happens, one thing is clear: Doug has already won something far more important: his freedom, his peace, and his truth. And honestly, that's something no amount of money can buy. So what do you think? Should Chris and Jackie be held fully accountable? Do you believe Chantel's story will help others who've lived through something similar? And what would you do if you found out the child you raised wasn't biologically yours? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We really want to hear from you. Whether you agree or disagree, this is a conversation that matters. And if you've been following this story with us, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next update. Because believe it or not, this isn't over yet.